He did?
Hey, you, come on, sit down. You're sitting at the grown-up table. I'm your host, Jessie Pimpinella, and as always, my partner in crime,
John Jacobs.
Thank you so much for joining us, and a happy Wednesday to all of you. We are very excited to talk about this next topic today. We're going to be talking about Amazon Prime's hit series, Invincible, based on the Robert Kirkman awesome comic book that he made. I'm a big Robert Kirkman fan. I've been in the Walking Dead section. So seeing something else come to life that was made by him has been very exciting. I binged the show in 2 days, man.
Impressed. I'm impressed you did it in 2 days, man. That's a commitment.
Yes. Oh, no, this is very, very – it was a good show. I mean, top to bottom, great plot line. It was able to stay unpredictable in a genre that sometimes is riddled with a lot of predictability. And you said it best during our off-air moments where you said that, this show takes a lot of the tropes and the cliches of a regular comic book show and kind of turns it on its ear so that it could be, its own thing. It could be original in that sense. Like, we're going to be talking spoilers, so I think it's pretty much safe to say I can give a spoiler at this point. Or should we give it a spoiler?
No, here it is, ready right now. Spoilers for Invincible. Okay, and go.
You knew his father was evil. You knew his father was evil. But the plot twist wasn't that he was evil, but the reason he was evil.
Yeah.
Because we were built on this lie that Viltrum was this great, holistic, wonderful planet, and we bought into it very easily. We just knew the father was fucked up. We didn't realize it was a societal thing.
Right.
So it really was nice and refreshing to get fucked over as the viewer in a different way. Like, oh, it's beyond him. Because in his mind, Omni-Man, while he is evil, he's doing his civic duty.
Right, absolutely. And I think that's what
serving on jury duty. I guess in his case, it's more homicidal, but but it's like, here's your card, here's your planet. You got to go to this planet. You got to weaken him up a little bit, soften him up for our big invasion. All right, sounds good. But and he took his draft card and he went there. So,
but think about that though. Like, so we could compare that to Kryptonians, right? And one thing I did like about Man of Steel was that it was there. Not all the Kryptonians were killed, and in very many Superman stories, there are still Kryptonians left. But when they came to Earth, it was just like, this is ours now. We're going to terraform this shit. We don't care who we kill. This is now Krypton. And I like how they took that concept into Invincible, but then kind of changed it a little bit to where the entire society is built around this concept of sending somebody to the planet to kind of appear to maybe be a hero or a savior or a friend or whatever word or phrase you want to use. And then that person puts their roots down and they get embedded into that society and the planet. I mean, they live for over 1,000 years. So that lifetime that humans live on Earth is nothing to them. That they could still be a kid for all you know. So putting yourself into that situation where you're living amongst them, you're living with them, you're creating a family, you're forming relationships, all of that built on a lie so that your species can expand itself outward from which it came from. And this has happened on how many? We don't even know how many planets this happened. We don't even know how big their empire is. We just know that their empire is huge because of this concept and how they run their society. And that's one of the absolute most interesting things about Invincible, both when I read, I haven't read every comic. I've only read graphic novels 1 through 8, 9, or 10, something like that. Darth is going to be on the show. He probably knows my number. He's the one that had me read them way back in the day when they were like current and coming out. He's like, hey, you got to check this out, So we do have some technical difficulties with Darth, but hopefully he'll be here soon. Oh, Darth!
I'm here.
There he is, my friend Darth. How are you?
Better now.
Okay.
So let's see here. Internet wonky, won't work at all.
Okay.
Crashed my computer, so all of that's down. Try to set it up through my phone. Phone says no, can't do that. Grab my Chromebook. connect the Chromebook to my phone to get internet access, then finally get on. So here I am sitting in front of my work computer, which is on the bottom, my personal computer, which is having a heart attack as we speak. And on top of that is my Chromebook.
Well, we're glad that you're here, no matter how you're here.
I'm talking about this book today.
Woo! Is that number 1?
This is volume 1.
There it is.
And that's volume 25, The End.
Oh,
I know what happens.
I feel so like
he's speaking to us like he's like some
I know.
prophet.
Look,
like, I know the end.
I've read
Invincible.
I've read a third of this series, and I feel like I need to finish it because it's like, you know, I don't even remember why I stopped, Darth. I think just life got in the way. So quick backstory. As you guys know, Darth and I used to work together, and way, way back in the day when Invincible came out, Darth was like, hey, you got to check this out. I think you'd like it. And I was just like, you know, it's not mainstream. He's like, just fucking read it. And so you gave me the warning that most people get when they first get into Invincible, which is it's slow burn in the beginning, but once once
you read the first 4 trade paperbacks,
yeah,
you will devour the rest of them. And John's like, I'm struggling to get through these first 3, and I'm like, keep reading. Trust me, it gets better.
Yeah.
He reads the 4th one. He's like, can I have 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9?
I remember, and I was just flying through them, man. Yeah, because once it gets you, you are in. And, you know, there is a difference between that in the comics and in the show, which we'll talk about later when we talk about the differences. But, yeah, so that's a little backstory about how I got into it. I mean, Darth got into it because Darth he knows everything about comics. So he was the one that got me into it, and I'm thankful. I am thankful for that, and I'm glad that you made me stick with it because you're absolutely right. Once it hit, it was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I was just totally hooked. So now that we've got Darth on the show, we've got Jessie on, everybody's connected. Let's officially start this thing, Jessie, because we kind of just started talking while Darth was kicking off. So where do we want to start? Brief history. Let's do that. Darth.
Let's start with the brief history. Yes.
Why don't you kind of give us the history that we have here, and, you know, how was it conceived? Where did it come from? What was the point? Like, just give us the lowdown on Invincible.
Well, this is a brainchild of Robert Kirkman. Kirkman, as many people know, was responsible for The Walking Dead. Well, responsible for the good Walking Dead, not the monstrosity that is happening right now. So it is basically, it's his ode to all superheroes. It's all about this kid growing up, having a regular teenage life, and then one day his superpowers kick in. And, you know, when reading it, you're just like, oh, this is just some normal everyday kid. And then all of a sudden, hey, guys, over dinner, he goes, oh, yeah, by the way, my superpowers kick in. And you're just like, oh, cool. So it's now just a story of him dealing with high school life, dealing with learning his superpowers. And I don't know, we have mentioned spoiler warnings, right?
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
But again, spoilers.
So, and then finding out that his dad is, you know, an evil conqueror trying to take over the planet. So it's all just a story of him coming of age in many of ways.
Yeah.
And it just kind of hits true, just kind of like how Spider-Man hit me. Spider-Man is obviously my favorite comic book hero of all time. Invincible is number 2.
I didn't know that was number 2. Honestly, I thought it was going to be Flash or Green Lantern.
No, Invincible. His story is pretty unique. I don't know any other character that, you know, grew up idolizing his dad. His dad is a superhero, coolest superhero ever, and then turns out to be an evil dictator. And going further into the comic books, a lot of stuff happens to him. So Won't go too much into it because I don't want to spoil anything for the people that have not read the comics, that are just watching the TV show.
So I think we can contain our spoilers, if you will, to just what's in the TV show.
Yes, I'm going to try my hardest.
Don't go too far, Darth.
There are some things that I will have to refrain from talking about.
Well, I'll have a way. I have a little bit part in the show where you can reveal something, but also give two falsehoods. So I have something ready for you. So
Jesse's got a game ready for us tonight.
I after checking this show out, I wanted to do some exploration. So I wanted to make sure that Darth would have a way to talk about that.
Mike Davis. Oh my God. What a jerk.
I have a fan base.
There's Nigel. Oh, look, there we go. Peyton.
So,
Tom. Yeah, Tom driving home.
All right, so let me talk a little bit about the history of Invincible. Well, questions I'm going to lob to Darth because he is the expert in this scenario. So, with Invincible, I mean, what is the takeaway from this versus a lot of mainstream comic books that you see? Because this is from the Image label. Like, what sets this apart from any other comic book IP, essentially?
It's all inclusive.
Mm-hmm.
If you only read Invincible, that's it. You don't have to read Uncanny Invincible, The Amazing Invincible, The Web of Invincible.
Yeah.
Invincible United.
That's one of the difficulties with Batman. I have to pick a writer and go off that writer.
Right.
And then people will be like, well, that writer's shit. And then it's like, now I'm a shit fan because I follow the wrong writer. Yeah, that's one of the nice things about Kirkman doing that.
Back in the day when I ran a comic book shop, if you wanted to read the X-Men, you had to pick up 9 titles a month to get the story. And then the big Marvel crossover events like Secret Invasion and Civil War. Civil War was only 7 books. That's it. 7 single issue comic books. And that would get you the story, the main story. But if you wanted to understand everything that's going on, I had all of the trade paperbacks, and there were 24 trade paperbacks for Civil War. And you had to read them all to understand the full story. And that just killed me. And
it's a grind, man.
If I didn't work at a comic book shop, I wouldn't have been able to afford all of those books to read. So the good thing I liked about Invincible, and I didn't get the single issues. I picked up only the trade paperbacks, and there are 25 trade paperbacks that come out. That came out once every quarter, once every 5 months, and they were $14 a piece. So
not a bad deal.
Super easy to read.
Not a bad deal when they have it. That is the very thing. That is something I envy, because like I kind of wish there was one single thing to read of any of the IP that I read, because it's like you want to know everything about, but then it's like sometimes you're this is a little too diluted. I want to go that route. So it is something that is very interesting that Invincible can bring to a lot of comic book readers. Now, one of the things that is on our fan base's mind, our previous guest Nigel, how faithful is this to the comics so far? I mean, obviously we are only scratching a surface, but so far on a scale 1 to 10, 10 being faithful, where would you say this show is faithful to? 9.
Wow. Yeah, 8 or 9 I would go with. I'll go with 9 just because Darth knows more.
And you know what? I would consider 7 and 9. I mean, knowing nowadays what could be done to a comic book and how they could change it, because like, for example, right now, The Boys, that show is working as a prequel as well as a sequel at the same time, because there's stuff that they're doing that happened before the initial comic started, and then there's some stuff that's happening after. It's really odd. But I like it. Not to say I don't like it. I
Great
like
show.
Change it up, as Robert Kirkman said, and I think Darth or John, you said it. He wants to keep those who read the comic books on their toes too, so they're not just watching an instant replay, but they're seeing kind of, I guess, a new element to some of these characters that they've been reading about for so long.
Right. So there's certain scenes and there's certain aspects that, as a comic book reader, I want to see. Like, I wanted to see the all-out brawl between Mark and his dad. I wanted to see that. That is just an epic. I wanted to see Mark's dad go, in 500 years, what are you going to have? Which, spoiler, is going to be very important, throughout the series.
Yeah. Well, one of the things I liked about that final episode is it had, and I'm saying this in a good way, like the Dragon Ball Z vibe. Remember Dragon Ball would have like a whole entire episode where it's one fight, there's dialogue chopped into the middle of it. And
they were like zipping back and forth, hitting each other through mountains and stuff. It's funny you mentioned that because I actually felt that way too. I was like, oh man, this is some Dragon Ball Z style. I like it.
Like the one thing that really got me, and this will just show you Omni-Man's cruelty, and it was quite literally rubbing Mark's face into it. The genocide that he would do by putting his face into the subway as the subway was incoming.
Oh, that was a great scene.
Dying off of his body. You gotta imagine, they're smashing into him and exploding just
blood and guts going everywhere as he's just pushing him. The subway's splitting in half as he's going through. Oh, it was amazing.
And that sequence, while it's violent and gory, it's metaphoric, it's symbolic, it's there's so much into that's, I guess, some of the things I always liked about Robert Kirkman with his writing. Everything is very symbolic. It's not as simple as we're going to do something. And don't get me wrong, there's sometimes where it's like, all right, let's see how violent we can make this. But there's like sometimes always something slipped in there that's even more if you find it. And I found that death very interesting. And I bet, or those deaths very fascinating, just because it revealed something about Omni-Man, it revealed something about Invincible, and it revealed a lot about them in that single scene. Now, real quick question that Vance is bringing to us, and I guess it's
I wanted to respond to this. Thank you for putting it up. Go ahead and read it. I want to respond. So, Vance, it's quite simple. Omni-Man is better than Superman. Let's just throw that out there now. And while Superman can't seem to control his load, which we've already explored when it shoots out, Omni-Man is able to control the velocity and speed. So he's able to slow his load down to a human level. That's how it happened.
Because he said you can move matter and space. So when he was talking about that,
John, shot his load, so to speak. The Vitramites are a conquering people. Thousands upon thousands of years ago, they knew what they had to do, go in, and basically have to crossbreed. Mm-hmm. So how are you going to crossbreed? You got to train yourself.
There you go. Imagine being in a class like you're in high school and it's like some instructor and like 30 dudes and he's like, okay, boys, today we're going to learn how to shoot slowly so that you don't kill somebody.
This reminds me of what my one buddy said. He's a guest of the show, Sam Sobel, who is pretty much used to be Columbus's only Jewish comedian. That's what he would say. He's like, that's how he would introduce himself. He would walk into a room like, hi, I'm Sam. I'm Columbus's only Jewish comedian. And he was right. He was the only Jewish comedian at the time. So one of the funny things he's always said, and this kind of reminds me of it, like how Viltrumites are like, oh, we got to practice. We got to practice. Because he's from a traditional Jewish household where you got married Jewish, the saying is shiksa for practice.
I mean, it's like, that's so true. Like, what are they in class? It's like, okay, now that I've shown you what to do and we've watched the instructional video, we're going to break off into pairs and we're going to practice until we get this down.
Yes, an alien rhythm method.
Oh shit, that's great. So they just pull all these kids aside, but they're probably like 200-300 years old by the time they go through this training, and because they age so much differently in retrospect to humans. And you've got a whole class full of essentially teenagers, and you're just teaching them how to blow their load as slow as they can to make sure they don't kill the woman, so they can complete their mission of crossbreeding and total domination.
So basically, it's edging 101, and then...
Dude, you can't edge. because if you edge, that's going to be high velocity, and that's no bueno. It's got to just be easy, like ease it in, don't go crazy, just kind of let nature make it happen, and then you just control the flow. You cannot be Edge and Omni-Man because he will kill people when he pops.
That is very true. But let's go into the characters since we're talking about the character's sex life. Let's get right into the character.
Absolutely.
So this show, one of the things I said off the air is that I like that it could take some of the things or I said on there at the beginning of the show, I like how this could take the classic hashed over 1,000 times superhero tropes and make them interesting. And one of the things, and make them brand new again. Like, for example, I was saying, like, you knew his father was evil. You knew his father was evil in the show.
Sure.
You knew from the get-go. They put it right out in Front Street. And the twist is why he's evil. And that's the brilliant thing. Like, they withheld that for so long, so you could think, is this just a guy who lost his mind going through a midlife crisis because his son has superpowers? What is it? What's going on here? And it's like, no, from the beginning, drafted there to take over this planet.
Yep.
And one of my favorite lines, and it's not even the meanest thing he says, but I love it. It's where he says, he mentions the mom, and he's like, she was more like a pet to me. And like, what?
It just completely changes your perception, because the whole time you're still convincing yourself, okay, I like Omni-Man. There's going to be a redemption here. There's going to be a Darth Vader moment or something, like something's going to happen. And then it's like, no, not at all. This guy's a piece of shit, and he's always going to be a piece of shit. And, we're going to make you know it now. Here we go. He's going to shit on his wife. He's going to shit on his kid. He's going to shit on the planet.
What's another 17 years?
Right. He was just like, fuck you.
Right. I mean,
start over again. Like, oh my God.
Think about it. So if you compare Omni-Man to a human, humans would be tsetse flies. Do you really care about the family of tsetse flies? No. No, because it's just going to go and they're going to go away. And that's why one of the things that really kind of resonates with me is, what are you going to have 500 years?
Yeah.
He's going to have, they're going to have each other, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that they know and care for and love, the mom, all of his friends, they're all going to die.
But think about what it takes mentally to not only hold that position, but comprehend that is the most logical and rational position, is that you are going to outlive all these people. So why the fuck are you so attached to them? Let's go over here and do this. Like, that doesn't register for Mark because he hasn't matured enough to understand that yet. But Omni-Man's just like, dude, you need to be listening to me. Let this shit go. Let's go over here and do this. And it's going to be father and son team up. And Mark just can't comprehend that, because that's the human part of him that's kicking in, and it just really pisses off Omni-Man. He's so mad. Like, he's offended that his son rejected him, which I can understand. I get that.
So the question would be, would Mark have been totally different if he was raised as a Vegemite?
From the beginning, you mean? Like, out with everything, honest?
Instead of feeling, raising him as a human. Yeah, raising them as what they truly are. These
now, here's the deeper question, Darth, because I really love where you're going with this. So let's say Mark and Omni-Man, they're in it from the beginning. So he pulls him aside when he's 2, 3, whatever, explains everything to him. He's good on it, right? And then they're just doing their thing growing up. But
genocide.
But Omni-Man was able to convince his wife that none of this was happening. She didn't know any of this. Obviously, and we'll talk about the differences in the comic and the show, because this actually is a huge difference between the comic and the show. But would they keep it from Debbie? Right? That's her name. I'm really bad with the names for some reason. It's Debbie, right? The mom's name?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. So Omni-Man and Mark are in on it from the beginning, but Debbie still has no idea. That could have been really cool, because how much more earth-shattering for her would that have been, where both her husband and her son are like, fuck you, lady, we're doing this, and we don't care about you. Like, Jesus, man, that would have been twice.
That would have been one of the shortest comic books ever.
You think so, huh?
It would have been a very short comic.
Hey, Dad, I got my superpowers. Somehow, let's kill everybody.
Right.
Unless the mother, her DNA was changed with Omni-Man's sperm somehow, like it colonized her.
Oh, now you're getting into Spider-Man realm. So you're saying some of the jizz then got in and reset her DNA and configured something new? Okay.
Yeah, why not? Why not?
There is a book by Brian Michael Bendis called Powers that deals with this.
You get superhero powers?
Yes, you have sex with a superhero. You get superhero powers temporarily.
Oh, look, if it's temporary, I'm not interested. But if it's permanent, I might take a shot at it.
Wait, I'm interested. Wait, no, I am interested. Wait a second.
Oh, wait, Jesse's interested in the temporary powers. Hold on.
Wait, that would be a great series where a guy has to bang superheroes. Like Rogue. Like, think how Rogue had to make contact with them.
Yeah.
So it's Rogue power, but banging. Oh, this could play great. I can see how this plays.
This could be like a TV show, kind of like Magnum PI, where it's episode of the week. There's no major big arc that you have to watch every episode and all this intertwined shit. It could just be dude banging a different girl that week for her to get superpowers, or vice versa. Like,
how do we fuck this fire monster? I don't know.
Well, they just make a porno series about this. There you go. That's what
you do. That knows how to use water. So
wait, are you playing with balls when you were doing that? What was that?
She uses the water to chill the dude.
Mind the stepchildren, Jesse.
Anyways, so there's a fire monster. He bangs a water girl, gets water powers, and it's kind of plays like the end of a Power Rangers episode where the powers are like his Megazord.
Oh, okay. You've really piqued my interest now. You went bring Tokusatsu into this. Now I'm all interested.
And then they'll get confusing episodes where we're like, wait, how do we defeat this thing? So then it's like you need two different girls. Their powers combined. You get power.
You have special episodes, the DP episodes. Boom, there it is.
Yeah, I need to fly and spit fire. That hooker over there can spit fire, and that hooker over there can fly. You get him in, like he's beat down. He's like, I can't beat him. And then the pimp says, I'll help you beat him. And then you release him more quickly. And then he's flying and spitting fireballs. He beats the monster. Credits roll, and we make some fucking money.
Oh my God, we went way off the rails with that.
All right, this is about Invincible, right?
There it is. Jesse is making his own hentai.
I would like to apologize to Robert Kirkman right now.
Okay.
So back to characters. So we talked a lot about Omni-Man. We talked about a lot about Mark, who's Invincible. We mentioned his mom, Debbie. One of the characters that I really think is interesting is Robot, aka Rudy, is his real name, right? Mm-hmm. Rudy, yeah. And I think it's interesting that they don't show it to you right away. You have suspicion about Robot from the beginning. You're like, I don't really trust this guy. And then you come to find out that it's this like, the best way I can describe it is it's Quato from Total Recall, only he's not inside a man. He's its own freeform character, but he still has an amorphic body. And it basically reminds me of Quato. And he made all these robots as drones to kind of like, that's him in the real world. If you've ever seen the movie Surrogates with Bruce Willis, kind of that concept. And then Rudy propositions the two twins, which I forget their names. Starts on the N. Yeah. And they make a clone. Yeah. They make a clone of one of the new Guardians of the Globe, who's the Flash character. And then Rudy is able to take himself and put him in that new body. Well, I'm sorry, no. They make a copy of his mind, and it works. So now his mind is in that, but his mind is still in the weird body. So that thing has to die for them to then live on in the body. It's really cool.
What a powerful moment that was.
Yeah, it was.
Here's the thing. Robert Kirkman is pretty much the god in that universe. He could have made it so that it's nice and neat, but he didn't. He made it as real as possible and said, no, you know what? You get the keys to the golden, kingdom, but you're not going to get all the prizes. Yes, you're going to get this body. Yes, you're going to be able to experience love. Yes, but you won't experience love. Mm-hmm. The mind that you copied will. And and then seeing them then cry, going like, go on, make us happy. We'll be happy. Like, to me, that was a very emotional. Again, he didn't tread upon an easy superhero trope where everything could have been happy. He made it like, look, there's going to be a price to this, and the price was the original has to die, and that was really good choice.
It was. I really enjoyed that, and it explains a little bit more about why he cares so much for Monster Girl, because he's not actually a robot. He's Rudy, and Rudy cares for her because she's reverse aging, right, Darth? So she was older. And
every time she uses her powers, she ages a little bit.
Yeah,
I remember at one point I kind of knew he was a drone the whole entire time, because there was something he said in his dialogue that was like, wait a second, why would he refer to that as a drone? Remember when he gets the flower in the show for Monster Girl to be healed?
Yeah,
and I sent a drone out to get it, and I'm like, wait, that's just you still. If you're a robot, your system could just go into another robot, and that's you.
Well, there could be like Robot Prime and then all these other drones that are
true, but I looked at it kind of like Age of Ultron, where Ultron was body jumping a lot throughout that whole movie.
Yeah,
so that's why I kind of never saw it as. So when he said that, I'm like, it was just really weird robot language. It referred to another version of yourself, drone, if you're all having the same consciousness going through you.
Well, so Darth, we did get Robot Prime because we got the fucking car that transformed into Robot Prime. So we kind of did get Robot Prime.
Yeah. But let's talk about another kind of cool character. I know Darth wanted to talk about.
Yes, Vance. We do get some more of the Mauler twins. They don't really go away for a while. They're not main characters, but they're always around.
Yeah,
they're there.
The one character that I really appreciated, that I really liked, was Alan, the alien. Who's been attacking Earth all these years to test it out, and it turns out it was just a test.
It's the wrong planet.
It's the wrong planet. Like, oh shit, sorry.
I love it. Again, the funny superhero trope.
Yeah,
like Alan was supposed to be like the true test of a hero, going out there and fighting someone that Omni-Man fought. And it turns out, and again, pointing out Mark's humanity. Instead of going out and thinking, I got to fight this guy, he talked him down. And then he realized the whole thing was misunderstanding, and he made a friend. So he kind of has like a pal. At the end, then the last episode, he's like, dude, just sit down. We'll talk. And then they're talking. And it's just like, I like that. That, again, it flipped another trope on its ear.
So the thing I liked was, how many times did Omni-Man go and fight this guy? And they knew he was coming like every 3 years, like clockwork. And Omni-Man would just go up, beat the crap out of him, and then the guy would fly away. And he'd be like, all right, cool. How many years did he do that before Mark was the one in charge and was like,
17 years, maybe? 17 plus years at least.
Right.
Jesus.
So that's unbelievable. Alan does play a bigger role later on. We get to see more of Alan. That's pretty obvious considering they got Seth Rogen to play Alan's voice.
Sure.
So,
and kind of interesting is that he's set to also do a live action movie with. I know him and Evan Goldberg are writing a live action movie
of Invincible.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they.
Okay, this is the first time I've heard of this.
Somewhere. I'm not sure if the project is dead in the water.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't think this needs to be made into live action. I'm fine with the animated show.
I'm becoming more preferable to TV shows than movies. Like right now, honestly, while I'm interested in another Batman movie, I wouldn't mind if they do a long-running TV show that kicked ass for 8 years.
Well, I told you HBO Max is getting ready to drop a two-season animated show.
Live action. I mean,
you had Gotham,
man.
What?
Don't bring up Gotham, man. That show was stupid.
That's like bringing up Pennyworth. Don't do that. Which I would watch that. But point is,
of course you would. Of course you would.
Listen, I'm like, when it comes to being a Batman fan, I'm like, I would do bad heroin. Okay, you could lace it with shit. And it's like, oh, what? You have another Batman show? What is it? It's Gotham. It's nothing like the comic books. All right, give me it.
I just,
But anyway, come back to Invincible.
Hold on, you brought it up. Let me say it, and then we'll move on. How fucking stupid was the Bane character in Gotham? Oh my god, stupid. He looked like the goddamn Cobra Commander from that live-action G.I. Joe movie. Like, what was the makeup artist thinking when they were creating that costume? Like, oh my god!
Try not to do anything that looks like Tom Hardy. That's exactly what it was, and he tried too hard to go. Here's the thing: here's Tom Hardy, and then he tried to go too far that way, but then he went way the hell that way. And way the hell that way was not the right answer.
I mean, it was still better than Bane.
I remind him.
Robin. So,
anyways, let's go back.
Garth, what was one of your favorite characters outside of the leads? Obviously, so we're talking secondary, tertiary characters.
A couple of them. One that they keep making reference to is the Aquaman character. He was just a big blue fish.
Oh, yeah.
And they make fun of how everyone makes fun of Aquaman. There's all this trouble over in the desert. Aquaman, go to the ocean and do nothing. And so there's times where there's big, giant, epic fight scenes, and then it pans away and goes, meanwhile, in Atlantis, and it's just him sitting on a throne going, nothing to do. I love that. I loved the Guardians of the Globe before they killed him. You really didn't get much into them, but it was pretty much the Justice League.
Yeah. There was a trope character. There was even like a Batman type character, like, there was a Wonder Woman type character. I mean, they were all kind of in there.
One of my favorite characters is Adam Eve.
Yeah, big Adam Eve fan, huh?
She does a lot in the series. I like her powers. I like the fact that she can just create stuff.
Mm-hmm. I think her character. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And then in the comics, instead of just going off to a tree house, she actually goes to Africa and starts, making Africa a very cool place. She helps out a lot. Giving them irrigation, giving them water, just helping out wherever she can. So, and the fact that they're kind of doing that in the comic book or in the TV series, but just the fact that she's just out there helping people. She doesn't have an agenda. She's not being controlled by the government or anything like that. She sees people that need help and she helps them.
I think she's more the relatable character for people to identify with too, and then especially like when her parents find out, kind of like leaving the house, type thing, going out on her own at such a young age. Like I think people can relate to that. So I think it's more of she's definitely one of the more relatable characters. So
the one character that I that for me at least that I really enjoyed was and I hope we get more of him, Damien Darkblood. I love that character. I thought that character was pretty cool. This is like a cult detective from hell that comes up.
I have a feeling we are going to see more of them. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to be one of those things that Kirkman changes in the comics or in the TV show compared to the comics.
I hope so, because
they made him much bigger in the TV show than he was in the comics.
Mm-hmm. I like his character. I like the whole thing. Like your breath gets cold when he's nearby, or I like he kind of speaks with this like Yoda riddle style accent, like fear you will. To me, he's a cool character. Him and Cecil, those two characters, I don't know why resonated so much with me. And Alan and the Alien, those three, I think, because they were just kind of, like I said, they were these characters that could easily fall in the trope of, we've seen this already. And they didn't. They did not fall in those at all. And I was very amused by it. Like, Cecil has a heart. He does care, but at the same time, still Cecil. And I love that one scene where he's like, let's go in this lab, turn the lights off. And then the lights go off and they can see everything. And why couldn't I see that? Oh, we've been shoving shit in the water and they're not able to see at this frequency.
Right.
Like, so it's like, while Cecil is this nice guy,
right, but he poisoned everybody.
like, he's so nonchalant. Like, that line is so throwaway.
Yeah.
When you think about it, you're like, holy fuck. If he could just throw that line out like that and not feel a thing, oh, this character has something to him.
And I like how he was very specific with, he's like, oh, we've been putting a chemical in tap water for the past 20 years so no one can see this. I'm like, what?
And that's what makes these characters so good. I think it's just because of how well they built up the world. They don't make a big deal out of big deal things to us. It allows us to really see how normalized a lot of the stuff is. I think that's a very fascinating thing Invincible does. It doesn't spend too much time doing what I like to call the Luke Skywalker Harry Potter method, where you're the lone guy who has no clue what's going on and you're basically learning through the main character. I mean, you do that a little bit with Mark, but at the same time you're really kind of catching up a lot on your own, and I like that. Yeah.
Let's go ahead and transition to a couple of our other topics because we're kind of coming up on time. This has been a great conversation, but
talk
about that we want to get to. So the brutality, that's one thing that you'll notice with Invincible right off the bat, is it's fucking violent. But to me, the violence serves a purpose. It's not dead alive violence where it's on purpose to be in your face and to make you be like, oh my god, like in the whole shock value. We made the most violent movie. It's the brutality is part of the story. It's part of the heart of it, and it's part of the emotions. When there's brutality in this, it's connected to an emotion. Omni-Man slaughtering the original Guardians of the Globe. And that's super brutal, but it's emotional because he's doing it because that's his job, and they don't understand that. When we brought it up earlier, when he's got Mark's face and he's smashing him through the subway, that's he and his son having a dramatic fight with each other, and that's part of that emotion from that. So I really like how the brutality is used, and we don't see this in everyday comics. And that was one thing that really drew me to Invincible when Darth started having me read it. And I know we even had conversations about it 10, 12 years ago, which was, my God, this is violent. And Darth's like, yeah, but there's a reason for keep reading and you'll get it. And I got it. And I feel like that's super important because a lot of times we shy away from that, or we save it for like one thing, like Batman killing joke, so everybody can freak out about it, even the movie was fucking ass. And it's like, instead of that one moment, though, we get this moment whenever there's something emotional going on that's impacting something. And I think that actually adds to the layers of how you feel when you watch it. It brings something out, and I think in a way it makes you care a little bit more. And I like that. So that's my piece on the brutality.
Yeah, because I mean, if they just had a normal superhero fight,
right?
Like what?
I've got a black eye now.
Right. Yeah. The Batman or Superman versus Zod fight in Man of Steel.
Yeah.
There was a lot of property damage, but they never showed actual human death.
Yeah.
This one, they're like, we're going to show human death.
Oh, yeah.
More and more care about the human death than we are going to be about, oh, they just destroyed this building. And they kind of flipped the script on you on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Like I
think it made it. I think that was a positive.
They made it so casual, which is perfect. Like when he was like fighting Mark and they go down through the ship. Like, you have to catch this or you'll miss it. You see people coming out of that hole bloodied up and dead. And you think about it, you're like, holy shit, when they were fucking going through that thing, they're hitting people on the way down. And I love the casualness because that's the reality. That's the brutality. I mean, if this were to exist, there would be that many casualties. And again, comic book movies shy away from it. And I feel like this is what made a difference.
Absolutely.
And because it was showing you real life consequences. Like, you want to live in a superhero world? Well, this is going to happen.
Jesse, I think you hit on something important, too, that we don't see in a lot. It does exist.
It does.
Not to the degree it doesn't. Here is the consequences. Because how many times do we talk about things and there's like, at the end, you're like, yeah, there were no consequences. Like the end of that stupid Wonder Woman 1984 movie. 0 consequences. 0.
Right.
And you're like, what the hell? How is this guy just walking away? Like
in the legal defense, and it's not a great legal defense, but win in that universe, it's very hard to try somebody for a crime because they were under the influence of a spell.
Stop it. Don't defend it. Stop it.
I'm just saying.
You're done.
I'm not
You're done.
disagreeing with you. I'm just disagreeing legally with you.
Now, you say there were no consequences. The movie ended. There's stuff that could happen outside the scope.
I'll give you that.
If
The
Thanos
movie did
could go
end.
and create stem particles off camera, they could try this guy off camera.
I mean, sure. So, but I do agree that this show really does show you consequences, whereas many don't. I guess that's my position. And I enjoy that because, again, it's not the normal. And I think that's what made it so popular and why people like it. And that's a good selling point when you're trying to get somebody to watch it. Darth and I were having a conversation when it first launched with a former coworker of ours. And he was going back and forth. But he's like, I don't know if I should watch this. I don't know if I'd like it. It seems generic. It seems like a ripoff. And I think all I said was just keep watching. But Darth like went in with a couple of points. And then he ended up loving it after like the 3rd or 4th episode. So it has that uniqueness to something that's not that unique. And that's what pulls you in. It's different. It's different than what we normally experience. And I think that's the real gem because it's done so well to be different, but looks like everything else, if that makes sense on what I'm saying.
Yeah.
No, it absolutely does. And for me, mainly with this show, with the consequences, and this kind of was an interesting thing. After that episode, after they see Omni-Man come out as evil, it kind of reminded me of those days after 9/11. This dark and gloominess that was over the world, kind of like something major had happened that will never be. The world's always going to be different no matter what. Now, the Omni-Man was the savior. Now we find out he took out the greatest heroes of our universe that keep us safe, and he killed them all. And he's
of our planet.
What?
Of our planet, not our universe. Of our
planet. I say universe because that's that whole type of, you know how we are. Our world is our
Where
world.
we're at.
Our world. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, we only care about that. So seeing this happen, we were like, oh no, this, you know. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
On what? What was the exact question?
Yeah, the feeling, the change of tone after we find out Omni-Man is evil. You know, for the normies in that world. You know, how would they feel?
Well, obviously, you know, they had the wool pull over their eyes. And they kind of really just kind of dropped the ball where you should always have like one guy that'd be like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was evil.
Saying it all along.
Yeah, the Lex Luthor of them all to get that justification.
Yeah.
I told you he was evil.
Now, this is one thing, Jesse, if you want to transition to our last topic, because I know we're running short on time. This has been a great conversation. I thought we were going to talk about differences within the comic, but because this goes right along with what you're saying, when it was revealed to the world and everybody's like, holy shit, Omni-Man's a bad guy. And not only is he a bad guy, he pretty much wants to kill us all and take over our planet to spread his race. Now, one of the biggest differences between the show and the comic was how Debbie found out, because in the comics, she had no clue until everybody else found out on TV. And it was very emotional because she had no idea what was going on. And then all of a sudden she's watching TV of her son and her husband fighting brutally, almost to the death. And then he reveals it. And that's when he's like, your mother meant nothing to me. And I'm mad that they didn't put that in the show. It pissed me off, but I got over it real quickly. But that was different because in the show from the very beginning, she's already piecing it together. And I actually like that better because her character has more to do in the show than I think she did in the comic. I like the concept of not finding out until everybody else finds out, because there's a lot of emotions and kind of different reveal with that type. But I also like how they did the burn in the show where she's piecing it together and figuring it out, because that's much more conflict that they have together, and then that internal conflict with the family. So I did like how the show did that versus how the comic did it.
Also, they don't immediately come out and say in the cartoon that Omni-Man is evil. Yeah, they show him beat the hell out of everybody and kill everybody, but you kind of get that. Yeah, they really heavily lean on. Yeah, he's evil.
Something's off with him.
But you are then on the journey with the mom.
Yes.
And discovering.
Yes.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, he really is. He really is evil. So
yeah, I like that, and I also liked how he actually takes damage in the show, because in the comics, I don't think he gets damaged at all. He gets other people's blood on him, but he's not damaged. But in the show, he gets fucked up.
In the fight scene, Mark does take him a little bit to the edge. Obviously, Mark just gets
not to the degree that's shown in the show. In the show, he takes damage in almost every fight he has, and I like that. I liked that. I thought that was good. I'm glad.
In the show, they even mention it. Cecil mentions that the fact that the cells don't want to die. They will not die. So you can bring him to the brink of death, and he'll come back.
Yeah.
So one thing. I just slipped my mind. It was something about what you were saying about, the one thing I liked about the show, and this is not really anything to do with the plot, but it kind of has something to do with the plot, is the title card. How it kept getting bloodier and bloodier every episode.
The fact that they never say his name.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
They influence, do an inference, and then boom. There it is.
Bit bloodier. And it's a little bit more bloody each time. I did like that a lot.
Kirkman likes to do Easter eggs, if you would. The trade paperbacks, there are 25 of them. 23 of them are named after 80s sitcoms or 90s sitcoms. 80s, and between 80s, 90s, and 2000s. They're all named after sitcoms for that. So the first one was called Family Matters. They did Friends. They did All in the Family. They did every single volume is named after a sitcom.
Well, did you see what their high school is named after?
Yeah.
Reginald. I forgot his last name. The guy
Johnson.
Father in Family Matters.
Yep.
Yeah. So the school's named after him, and I think they actually had him playing the principal in the TV show. So that was kind of cool that they did that.
I like those little Easter eggs that they throw in.
So the other big difference in the cartoon compared to the TV show, or I'm sorry, the cartoon compared to the comic books, is the big giant creature that the government throws at Omni-Man.
Yeah.
Doesn't exist.
It looks like the creature that Monstar in Silverhawks rides on, that has all the tentacles, that's connected to a giant brontosaurus. Maybe a Cthulhu from an alternate dimension or something. Yeah, that was strange. I mean, it was cool, and the fight was neat, but
they kind of had to have that. Mark doesn't exactly know what's going on. He's going to go help his dad make the universe or the world think, oh wait, no, he actually is a bad guy, because he is fighting against the government and whatever they threw at him. And then the big fight happens, which I thought was cool. You had to get them there somehow, and you couldn't do it like they did in the comic book. So I thought that was a big difference. A couple other small differences. They introduced the human robot a little too early. He doesn't get introduced until a little bit later in the series. They gender swapped one of the new Guardians of the Galaxy or Guardians
didn't they?
Guardians of the Globe.
It was the all green character and like the Green Lantern character ish, and they swapped them or something.
No, in the new version, there's like the Atom type character is female, and
that's it.
Books, it's a male.
Yeah,
and
but
then,
I don't think that really mattered with how those characters were, so it didn't make a difference.
It really doesn't. And then they race swapped Mark's girlfriend. That's it. In the comic book, she's a white girl. And
yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
So, but I mean, yeah, and I think Rexplode is Hispanic.
Yeah, there was something about that too that I think was a little bit different. But again, those changes are so minuscule. And they also, in this one, they show Omni-Man killing the Guardians of the Globe and him taking damage, whereas in the comics, he was invisible because he was moving so fast, and you didn't see him until everybody was dead and he was covered in blood. That was a little bit different. I will say one thing that I had my fingers crossed on was the Immortal. I was really hoping that they were going to keep him alive when he came back the second time. I was like, hey, here's their chance to do a little change here, and let's keep this guy alive and do something with him. No. We ripped him in half. He's gone. Bye-bye.
And that's the thing.
He comes back.
Well, we'll see. More to come, right? We don't get too far ahead.
Yeah. But what are some of our predictions? And Darth, you can give predictions as well.
Yeah, let's go ahead and round out the show with this, Darth. What do you got?
Yeah. What do you think will happen to us? And like I said, necessarily what Darth says, everybody, may not happen, only because Kirkman has a history of changing storylines, or you could be lying to us to mess with the fans. So I say that so that we give you some plausible deniability that you're not revealing anything. So without further ado,
don't give them any ideas, Jesse.
I'd rather abstain because what happens, I can't make up good enough stuff for a lie compared to what happens. A lot of fan favorites, they're not going away. They keep a lot of the characters. They introduce a lot more characters.
Yeah, isn't there like almost 200 total characters by the end? Something like
that? There's so many characters.
Yeah, there's a ton of characters.
And the other thing that's not really another difference was Mark's favorite comic book hero is Science Dog in the comic books, and they changed his name in the cartoon, and that was because Kirkman's trying to do a spin-off series and didn't want to sell the rights to Amazon for Science Dog.
Gotcha. Okay, well that makes sense.
Oh,
one of my, I don't know if you call it a prediction or whatnot, but I would like to see more from Cecil, and obviously I've only read a third of the 25, so I don't know what's really coming, to the degree that Darth does, but I would really like to see Cecil get some real action and have some type of big impact, whether that's a death or an aid to somebody that really moves something forward that's important. I want to see Cecil kick some fucking ass. That's what I want to see.
I thought you were talking about get some action like with Mark's mom.
I mean, that would be cool too, and that would go right with Jesse's whole hentai thing. And look, Cecil's old, man. He doesn't have to control his load. His load controls itself at this point. So he's good. He's good to go. Now then Mark can have a stepdad and, new stepdad, get some money from, go play ball with, maybe he knocks up Debbie. He's got a little half brother to raise, So, hey, man, there we go. Good old family dynamic in the works with old Cecil moving in on Omni-Man's sloppy seconds.
So my prediction is they are going to do a workplace sitcom of Burger Mart. I think they have to go that way. It's what the fans want, in my opinion. Just give us what we want. No.
Give us what it would be like Clerks too, man.
You never go ass to mouth.
Never. Well, sometime. No, just keep going.
So I think I think they are going to hold off from showing Omni-Man for at least the first half of the next season. They're going to make it feel like he went away for a while so they could create that imminent threat of, will he come back? Will he not come back? Will he? And then when he comes back, it'll be with a fiery passion, and it will be death and destruction left and right. I know you two might know what it is, so I'm speaking from somebody. This is the first time I'm speaking from an aspect of not reading the comics. So this is a new thing I get to do. So that's what I think will probably occur from being the layman here.
I will remain silent. I don't want to ruin anything for you.
All right. And we will get superhero sex. We will get a lot of that. We're doing a spinoff of Duplicate and Adam and Eve burying the hatchet. All right. It's what the fans want.
There's so many duplicated penises in my face. I don't know what to do.
It's what the fans want. And that's, like I said, that will be on after Burger Mart. We're still serving you. That's the catchphrase. We'll work on it later. But hey, I think that's it for the show today. I want to thank everybody for stopping in and tuning in and commenting. Mike, Nigel, Peyton, Vance. Let's see, who else? Am I missing anybody? I think I got everybody.
We had some people watching. We had Dan watching. We had Bonnie watching. We had Joseph watching. Tom was on. He was listening to us on his drive home. So we had a lot of our peeps in today. It was great.
So thank you guys so much for tuning in. And tune in next week. We'll be back at 7 o'clock. Make sure as soon as I get off here, make sure you like and subscribe our pages, Facebook, YouTube, everything that works. I want to give a big shout out to our special guest, Darth, for stopping by, man. Thank you so much, man.
Always a good time, Darth.
You always bring something big to the table, and you got us introduced to Invincible. So excited to have you back for another show. Hopefully we can be talking about some, I thought while we were looking to season 2, but also I was looking on there. It looks like Kirkman and Rogan in them, they are going to make a movie. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I'm just
keep making the animated show. Don't make the goddamn movie. Jesus.
All right.
And don't forget, I'm going to come back for the Batman.
You know you will. We're going to be going.
So we got the official Riddler. We were all right all along. That was Riddler. They finally came out and said, yeah, this is him. So there you go, Darth. There's some new news for you.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's not Jim Carrey. I don't care.
Dude, I'll get the tickets. You buy the popcorn. We're going. Just that's it. We're gonna take a at the grown ups table field trip with some of the guests, including you, and we're gonna go see this movie, and we'll round table this up, man. We will. You can write. When you do write your apology paper to me for how much make sure you do it in MLA format because that's what I went to school with. Cite any reasons for why I'm awesome. So get those out of the way for you, okay?
And when I ask for my refund back, I want it back in $2 bills.
Now, if you could do $2 bills and Kennedy $50. There you go.
Fair enough. It's a date. It's a date. But anyways, I want to thank everybody for joining us. I want to thank Mr. Vance, the producer, who produces the goods, always with us. Hey, we'll be back next week. Until next time, I'm Jesse.